The Zappa police recently made me do something, and I don't know what I think about it. I was talking about double albums and the history of double albums, and Zappa fans rightly let me know that the Mothers of Invention studio album, Freak Out, a double album, was released 1 week after Bob Dylan's Blonde on Blonde. I'm not sure I knew that. I've heard it before, but it's been a long time. I've never really known what to make of Frank Zappa. Smug, weird songs, long songs, tendency to provoke, or make songs that you're kind of invited to laugh at.
I think if you shoot any lower than that, you're going to wind up with something sleazy.
And I'm going to listen to it again and try to decide for myself, is Frank Zappa worth listening to in 2024? You know those videos where someone's listening to a song for the first time and basically shows their reaction to it? I like a lot of those reaction videos. This is not a reaction video like that. But it is a reaction video, because a week ago I got this, Freak Out by Mothers of Invention from 1966, an album that I had kind of heard before. I don't even think I knew that it was a double album. It's been that long ago. And I've been listening to it every day this last week. A lot of different sounds, a lot of different things going on.
Nature's been good to this here band. Always, Howie, and I love you too.
I could listen to this for years and still discover new things. But after 1 week, I can offer 5 initial takeaways of Freak Out. Now, whenever I listen to something, I try to listen to it in the context of the times. In this case, we're talking 1966.
The California electorate is behaving a little like a woman buying a new hat.
I came back to Brill Cream. These are the voyages of the starship Enterprise.
This was an iconic year in music and culture. And in the middle of it, June 27th, Freak Out comes out, an oddball debut from a band most people wouldn't have known about that was hard to define. I mean, you have 14 songs over 60 minutes that ranges from 2-minute 12 doo-wop songs to 12-minute soundscapes of loops and pieced together gibberish.
America's wonderful. Wonderful, 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 wonderful.
It starts with essentially the mission statement of the album.
Mr. America, walk on by your schools that do not teach.
It's upbeat, got fuzz guitars. It sounds pretty 1966 to me. And it's addressed to Mr. America from the left behinds of the Great Society. Now, Frank Zappa is referring to LBJ's policies of the Great Society that was trying to address poverty and racial injustice at the time. And ultimately, through this album, he will return to that and find that he's not believing answers that are coming. My initial takeaway is, for 1966, this is a really notable debut album. So good job, Frank Zappa and Mothers of Invention. You have my attention.
Probably wondering why I'm here, and so am I.
My second takeaway is about this album art, because 1966, 2 months before, you have Rolling Stones' Aftermath. After that, you have Pet Sounds, Beach Boys. Shortly afterwards, you have Revolver by the Beatles. And none of those albums look like this. There's all this bright color. You have, like a comic book talking bubble there. You have on the back a fictional letter from an anti-fan of the band. Inside you have a whole culture. It's like a zine introducing you into their world. But the thing that got my attention the most were these names. At my count, there's 178 names here. You have jazz musicians, folk musicians, blues musicians, a certain Donna number 1 and Donna number 2. Now, it reminded me when I looked at this of the backdrop a year later on the Beatles' Sgt. Pepper's album cover, which has 58 figures, kind of an endorsement of people that inspired this fictional Sgt. Pepper's band. And here you have it a year before with the Mothers of Invention. Now I found 5 names overlap. In both cases, you have Elvis, Bob Dylan, Aldous Huxley, the German composer Stockhausen, and Lenny Bruce. Cheekily, Frank Zappa included Brian Epstein, the Beatles manager, but not the Beatles. This album raised the ante on what a rock album art could do and the experience it offers to the listener of this music. You have my attention. The third takeaway, we have to address the obnoxiousness of Frank Zappa. If there's anything that I have as a preconceived notion of Frank Zappa, is he's incredibly talented. He could compose very complex music for the philharmonics or string quartets or jazz bands or rock bands or psychedelic bands. He could experiment with music in ways that no one ever thought before. But then he sings and writes lyrics, and it's so on the nose and so unsubtle in its delivery, and it's often made in a way that's saying, hey, you can laugh at this.
I don't even care if you shave your legs.
And it distracts me from any higher success that his art can do sometimes. That's very evident on Freak Out. There are kazoos. There should never be kazoos on a rock album, I'm sorry. I don't know what to make of all the doo-wop.
Go cry on somebody else's shoulder.
Now, the reason why I feel some confidence in saying this goes to my fourth takeaway. The best song on this album is not funny. It's not a joke at all. And in it, he's watching TV news coverage of the Watts riots in the summer of 1965, when many African Americans in Los Angeles were protesting against police brutality and racism in the police, something that's as pertinent today as it ever was. It's pretty amazing what some of the things he talks about.
Wednesday I watched the riot, I seen the cops out on the street.
He says our country isn't free.
I bet there won't be many left to see it really end.
He says a fire in the street ain't like a fire in the heart, much harder to put out.
Hey, you know something, people? I'm not black, but there's a whole lot of times I wish I could say I'm not white.
That's a really good lyric for 1966 or 2024. And at the end, he says, he makes some fun of himself for making up songs about being poor and says, blow your harmonica, son. That it's ultimately futile, even what he's trying to do. It's a pretty bleak image in 1966 of the United States, and it's right there in Trouble Every Day. A really great song. My fifth takeaway is, a lot of times when I'm listening to music, I'll watch old interviews. I watched the Zappa documentary by the Bill and Ted guy called Zappa. And then I realized that his daughter, and her name really is Moon Unit Zappa.
I'm like so sure, barf me out, gag me with a spoon.
Was in my favorite episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Look at this man, he's like your brother.
He's a bald brother.
I had no idea. Many people commented that I did not mention Freak Out in my double album video. And because of that, I have this. And I thank you for that, because I like this album. I think it's definitely worth listening to in 2024. And it kind of makes me curious about the next two albums. Absolutely Free and We're Only in It for the Money. And where the mothers go from here. I'm a little mad at it because it stays in my head, which means that sometimes when I'm trying to be quiet or do some work, I start thinking about those kazoos. What do you think? You like Frank Zappa? Let me know in comments. Please like and subscribe. We'll see you next time on Robert's Record Corner. I'm Robert.